Page number 312. From the white collar working class, gradually with the growth of sophistication in genetic ideas and techniques for measuring ability, it became clear that a great deal of talent of the highest level was in fact lost by an egalitarian system of education. The idea that equality of opportunity might mean opportunity to develop any abilities a child might have, even if these interpretation of this phrase. It is only recently that it has become accepted that every child is entitled to an adequate education, though at the present moment only the top 5% of the intelligence distribution gain an education which is in any respect equivalent to that especially provided for middle class children by their parents. Questions. Number 1. What was the old meaning of the phrase equality of opportunity? Number 2. What is the modern interpretation of equality of opportunity? Number 3. Why does the writer consider the existing system of education to be inegalitarian? Number 4. What changes and reforms does the writer suggest to make education just and beneficial for all? Number 5. What has recently been accepted about child's education? Answers. Number 1. The old meaning of the phrase equality of opportunity was to give everybody a chance to develop his potentialities, to improve his intelligence, and rise to the page number 313. Top. It also means to the right of education to each child. They believe that there were many working class girls and boys who, if offered the chance, could become great statesmen, great scientists, or great writers. Number 2. The modern interpretation of equality of opportunity means to give equal chance of getting adequate education to each and every child. The children are given admission in educational institutions on the basis of aptitude test. Culturally backward and poor children need to be given more attention. There are some children who fail to develop and improve their talent due to lack of resources. Number 3. The writer considers the existing system of education to be inegalitarian. It does provide equal chances of getting education to those who are poor and culturally backward. Modern techniques for measuring the ability have shown that a great deal of talent of the highest level was lost by the unjust system of education. Number 4. The writer suggests the following changes and reforms to make the education just and beneficial. He says that the children who are born in poor and uneducated family be given an equal opportunity of getting education. For this purpose, the government should raise the standard of living of the poor people. Scholarship should be given to poor students so that they could meet the expenses of their education. Number 5. It has recently been accepted about the education of the child that ability is largely acquired. A child can become more or less intelligent according to the kind of family he has. Intelligence improved with better facilities. Page number 314, passage number 22. Read the following passage from Iqbal's message by S.A. Waheed carefully and answer the questions given at the end of the passage. Please make sure that the answers are in your own words. After a long and careful study of Islamic law, I have come to the conclusion that if the system of law is properly understood and applied, at least the right of subsistence is secured to everybody. But the enforcement and development of the Sharia of Islam is impossible in this country without a free Muslim state or states. This has been my honest conviction for many years, and I still believe this to be the only way to solve the problem of bread for Muslims as well as to secure a peaceful India. If such a thing is impossible in India, the only other alternative is a civil war, which, as a matter of fact, has been going on for some time in the shape of Hindu-Muslim riots. I fear that in certain parts of the country, example, Northwest India, Palestine, may be repeated. Questions. Number 1. What exactly would ensure the right to subsistence to everybody? Number 2. What is essential for Muslims and for a peaceful India? Number 3. Write down in your own words all the problems that Allama Iqbal believes will emerge in India without a free Muslim state or states. Page number 315, passage number 23. Read the following passage from the essay Education for Tomorrow and answer the questions given at the end of the passage. Your answers must be in your own words. The new knowledge makes it necessary to re-examine the whole concept of Equality or of opportunity. Mr. Anthony Crossland has recently drawn a vital distinction between the weak and the strong definition for equal opportunity. The weak definition means, which has always been accepted as the only definition up to now, is that all the children of equal means measured ability should have roughly the same start in life. The strong definition takes account of recent psychological knowledge, which points out that ability is largely acquired and that a child can become more or less intelligent according to the kind of family he has and the social and educational experience he receives. It asserts that, subject to differences in heredity and infantile experience, every child should have the same opportunity for acquiring measured intelligence insofar as this can be controlled action. This is clearly a revolutionary principle. It means a rapid shift towards creating a society where every child has a good home, which in turn means, as an integral part of the education process, eliminating low incomes, bad housing, and badly educated parents. It means sending every child to a good school till he is at least 17, and as far as possible eliminating any final decision before the age as to page number 316. His future education and job. In order not to narrow his academic field too early, in practice it would suggest, for example, that if boarding schools have anything to give, means which I doubt except for a uni minority, it should be given to the culturally deprived and not the well endowed. Questions. Number 1. What vital distinction does Anthony Crossland draw between the strong and weak definitions of equal opportunity? Number 2. What, according to the passage, as acquired, measured intelligence mean? Number 3. What reservations does the author have about the concept of equal opportunity, and why does he call it a revolutionary principle? Passage number 24. Read the following passage from the essay The Idea of Pakistan by Ian Stephen and answer the questions given at the end. Merely copying sentences from the passage will earn you no marks. Islam is not merely a religious doctrine, but a realistic and practical code of conduct in terms of everything important in life, of our history, our heroes, our art, our architecture, our music, our laws, and our jurisprudence. In all these things, our outlook is not only fundamentally different, but often radically antagonistic to the Hindus. Our names, our clothes, our foods, they're all different. Our economic life, our educational ideas, our page number 317. Treatment of women, our attitude to animals. We challenge each other at every point. Take one example. We eat the cow. The Hindus worship it. Englishmen imagine this is merely picturesque convention. It is nothing of the sort. Pakistan then may be looked on not as a militant country poised towards proselytization or renewed conquests in spite of Islam's real talent tendencies towards such things, but essentially as a defensive one, on guard, brought into being maintain a culture that most of her inhabitants highly value, and to be a refugee to which like-minded Muslims elsewhere on the subcontinent could go. Are not the facts of population size, Pakistanis would ask, alone proof enough of this defensiveness? Though Hindus may well consider Islam formidable when they look back on the past, surely Muslims, looking out on the present, have even better cause for finding Hinduism so. The subcontinent contains about 380 million Hindus, but only 125 million Muslims. Or to put it differently, in terms of the 1947 frontiers, the Indians Union's Hindus amount to about 370 million. Pakistan's Muslims to only 83 million. How, on such figures, Pakistanis would ask, could any Indian honestly fear Pakistani attach? Are not the Muslims the people to be afraid? Nor, of course, is numerical superiority the Hindus' only advantage. Pakistanis would hasten to adduce other important things, such as comparative industrial and financial power and educational advancement. Page number 318. Questions. Number 1. How is the Muslim way of life different from the Hindu way of life? Discuss. Number 2. Why does the writer consider Pakistan to be on the defensive? What reasons does he advance for this viewpoint of his? Number 3. What superiority does India enjoy over Pakistan? Elaborate. Passage number 25. Read the following passage from the essay How Many People by Richie Calder and answer the question given at the end. Merely copy sentences from the passage will earn you no marks. The population quandary is obvious. The biggest factor in the changing picture is the decline in mortality, which has been made possible by cheap and effective disease control. The exception is in a few areas which are remote from centuries of administration and are at the moment inaccessible to life-saving devices. At the one end, more infants are being saved to live, to marry and to procreate. At the other end, in the advanced countries, people are living longer and the span has reached over 70 years, double the life expectation of an Indian baby. It is neither politically practical nor morally conceivable that the people in the underdeveloped countries should be denied the amenities of modern medical progress. To discriminate against the people of such countries is tantamount to selective genocide. The experts of the United Nations does not hesitate to demand new rationalized attitude towards procreation. Page number 319. And said that the basic research into this physiology of reproduction could find measures for birth limitation suitable for mass use. They said, we are swimming against the tide of evolution, but having discovered how to increase that flood, we have not also, through biological science, the means of arresting it. Questions. Number 1. What is the population quandary and whose is it obvious? Discuss. Number 2. What is selective genocide and what, according to the author, is tantamount to selective genocide? Explain. Number 3. What did the UN experts mean by rationalized attitude to procreation? Discuss. Passage number 26. Read the following passage from Flight into Karachi by Hector Bolito and answer the questions. Merely copying sentences from the passage will earn you no marks. You are free to go to your temples, you are free to go to your mosques, or to any other place of worship in this state of Pakistan. You may belong to any religion or caste or creed that has nothing to do with the fundamental principle that we are all citizens and equal citizens of one state. Now, I think we should keep that in front of us as our ideal, and you will find that in course of time, Hindus would cease to be Hindus and Muslims would cease to be Muslims, not in the religious sense, because that is the personal faith of each individual, but in the political. Page number 320. Sense as citizens of the state. The words were janaz. The thought and belief were an inheritance from the Prophet who had said, 13 centuries before, all men are equal in the eyes of God, and your lives and your properties are all sacred. In no case should you attack each other's life and property. Today, I trample under my feet all distinctions of caste, color, and nationality. Questions. Number 1. What did the Qaid mean by Hindus would cease to be Hindus and Muslims would cease to be Muslims? Not under religious sense, but in the political sense. Discuss. Number 2. What does the writer mean when he says the words were janaz? The thought and belief were an inheritance from the Prophet, peace be upon him. Elaborate. Number 3. In this great speech, the Qaid gave the Pakistani nation an ideal. What is it? Do you think Pakistan has followed that ideal or no? Discuss. Number 4. Summarize the following passage in your own words to about 1/3, means 150 words, of its original length. No marks shall be given for mere reproduction from the passage. Passage number 27. Read the following passage from the essay The Idea of Pakistan by Ian Stephen and answer the questions given at the end. Merely copying sentences from the passage will earn you no marks.